you ready for another WHO After Dark? Because the Hawkeyes kick off in about 25 minutes maybe in Champaign-Urbana as they take on the Fighting Illini. Good to have you along on a Saturday night. I'm Travis Justice. He is Ross Peterson. Hello, Ross.
Hi, buddy. You ready for a late one again, huh?
Yeah, I like the late ones because I think there's, this day's been incredible as far as sports goes, man. There's been some really, really good games, and that includes college football and Major League Baseball playoffs. It's just been one hell of a sports day.
Yeah, so what that means is tonight, no matter what happens with this game, we're going to have a fun show because we are going to have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Big Ten action to break down that happened today, a lot of really good Big Ten action that happened on the field. And hopefully we're having some fun talking about this Hawkeye-Illinois game. But, man, my gut is not in a good spot right now.
I hosted the Bumper Brigade on News Radio 600 WMT this afternoon, and I had Brian Barnhart, who's the voice of the Fighting Illini, on. And I asked him, I go, hey, Brian, when's the last time Illinois fans felt good about football, right? He goes, man, I've been doing this 22 years, and I got to go all the way back to 2011. It's just a different atmosphere. They're going with an orange out tonight. Iowa's won 8 in a row in this series. In fact, Iowa's dominated. They've won by an average of like 22 points per game. I think in 2016, 2018, pitched a shutout in Champaign-Urbana. So Illinois is fighting for a little respect tonight.
And they've got the team that can do it, Travis.
Yeah.
They've got the team that is worthy of that respect, and a coach that knows how to beat Kirk Ferentz, knows how to play Big Ten football, has obviously got these guys coached up a little bit from the team that they were. They can run the football. The Hawkeye defense has not been the amazing steel curtain that we were hoping they would be. And then the offensive woes have been beat to death. I don't even know what other words to add to it.
It's funny because people have been talking about this, what John's talking about right now, thinking if we don't win today, we may be hard-pressed to become bowl eligible. And that's why you and I talked about it all week long on our sister station, 106.3 KXNO on the Morning Rush. This is a crossroads right now for Iowa. I mean, because you lost last week to Michigan. You got Ohio State coming up in, 2 weeks? I mean, there's a danger of losing 3 in a row if you lose tonight, and that's a huge crossroads. And if you lose tonight, you're pretty much out of the Big Ten West Division.
John, it was the first thing I thought of last week as we were pulling away from a Michigan loss. It was the first thing that went through my head was we're going to have conversations about this team being bowl eligible. Now, win today, and I do think that you start to reassess that schedule.
Yes, I would agree.
You maybe pencil that W in next to Nebraska again, and maybe pencil that W in next to Northwestern or whatever. Look down that schedule. You've got a couple other wins in there. Right now, you lose this game, it's a tough road.
Now, you're 100% correct. The scary thing about this, Ross, is that we're still waiting for Iowa's offense to get back on track. And, some people could say, hey, all you got to really do is look at the numbers of Spencer Petras over the last 3 games. He's hit 62.2% of his passes. He's gone for 569 yards, 2 touchdowns. He hasn't thrown an interception during that stretch. Yeah, but Iowa's still not scoring points, not scoring enough points. And Illinois has the number 1 scoring defense in the country. Illinois has defensive numbers that rival or are better than Iowa's. And I don't want this to be a negative thing towards Iowa because we're doing an Iowa show tonight. But the numbers, I'm
surprised to hear that. I didn't know that. They have played a garbage schedule, but
yes,
they beat Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I didn't know that the highest scoring defense, I'd have bet a lot that was going to be the Hawkeyes at the end of that stat.
No, Iowa's actually moved down after last week against Michigan, and Illinois moved up because they did a good job of holding Wisconsin below its average, and you hold Wisconsin to 2 yards rushing. That helps out a lot. And let's not forget, last week Michigan had a pretty good opportunity and did a good job running the football against Iowa. You've got Chase Brown tonight for Illinois, who's the leading rusher in the entire country. He's gone for 733 yards. So you're coming with a strong ground game, 2 great defenses. There's a reason this over-under is sitting there at 36.5.
Yeah, and again, man, for the 3rd or 4th week in a row, I just don't see how this game gets to be to that 36, 37-point game with a 3-point spread. I mean, Vegas then thinks this game's a 20-17 game. I don't see how the Hawkeyes get to 17.
Look at David Bellis is watching us from section 202 in the nosebleeds at Memorial Stadium in Champaign, Urbana. That a boy, David. That's what we like to hear. That's
awesome,
what we like.
David, thank you, Mr. Bellis.
And Dan likes to point out that Spencer Petras got a lot of his yards last week in garbage time against Michigan to increase some of those stats.
I mean, Trav, that's what I would say about those stats. People that say, look at these last 3 games. Look at these last 3 games when they beat Nevada and Rutgers and got embarrassed by Michigan.
Yeah.
There's more to it than the completion percentage.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to sound negative, but it's hard not to sound negative when there's been nothing to be positive about.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's the hard part. And that's why tonight is so important for the Hawks to get a win. It really, really is. Because if they don't, Ross, the Jethro's Barbecue Sound Off is going to be lit, and I mean lit until 1 a.m.
Going to be crazy till 1. I feel like I'm being whitewashed by all this light.
Well, no, you're illuminated. It's like the hand of God has touched you personally. I mean, you are the chosen one. You are the golden child.
Whatever I was chosen for, can they pick someone else?
No, yeah, that's the hard part about being the chosen one. Did you like the movie The Golden Child? Because I thought it was one of Eddie Murphy's good ones.
Trav, I know I've seen it, but I don't think I can remember a single thing about it except for that it had Eddie Murphy in it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You might want to go back and watch it. I liked it. Anyway.
Does it have is it set in
Tibet,
Thailand or something?
Like it started in Tibet and then moves to Los Angeles.
Okay, that again vaguely remember.
Dan also goes on to say, you got to believe we can win this. And I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I mean, that's what you kind of got to do, right?
I hope that we will win.
You guys should do a version of the Manning cast during the game. I think it would be a lot of fun. But as Ross and I learned on Friday, we tend to offend people. So we might. And if you watch this really during the game, you may not like us anymore, Kirk.
Kirk, here's the honest truth. And Travis has alluded to this before. We're not nearly as fun when the game is happening as you might think, because we're cutting up highlights. We're listening to the game. We're watching the game. Travis and I will say about 10 sentences to each other over the course of that game. We really do, right? We keep our opinions to ourselves. We try not to impact the other person's opinion or experience of watching the game. So I'd be okay with you guys tuning in and us doing something like this while the game was happening, but I think that you'd be awfully bored with it.
The closest we came to it was what game was the Rutgers game, right? When the Lightning game, and we just went on and talked for like 2.5 hours, but that was during a rain delay, and that was a lot of fun. But maybe someday we can do something like that. What's your prediction for tonight, Ross? Wow, the fact that you got to think about it.
10-9.
10-9. Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Wow.
I don't know how. I have very little hope right now. Very little hope. I have very little hope that we're going to enjoy this football game tonight, Travis. I have a fear that here in about a half hour, I'm going to be upset and bored. Watching my favorite football team on Saturday night play against their border rival, I'm genuinely concerned that in a half hour I might be bored. Pray to God that's not the case. Let's pray to God we've had a 70-yard bomb and, Gavin Williams' 43-yard touchdown run and a blocked punt, and that'd be fun. That'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
If we get to halftime and it's 6-3.
The good news is, to my right, I've got another monitor, so I can watch the Iowa State-Kansas State game. I can watch the Alabama Texas A&M game, which I think could be kind of interesting. I've got the Hawks on right behind me. There's some good games to watch tonight, but of course we're gonna be glued in watching Iowa take on Illinois, which is coming up at the bottom of the hour. Of course, you're listening to the pregame show right now with Ed Podolak and Gary Dolphin. Kickoff right around 6:40. That's on the Big Ten Network. After the game, right around 11 o'clock, will be the Jethro's Barbecue Sound Off. Ross and I are going to be on until 1 o'clock tonight. So you can listen to the game on News Radio 1040 WHO. Go online to WHOradio.com. And of course, we will be on the app as well afterwards. Just be ready for that. So, I wish I could give a prediction at 10-9. I'm going to say 14-10, and I'm going to say Illinois. I'm going to say Illinois at 14-10. When you said 10-9, were you saying Iowa winning or Illinois winning?
No, I think Illinois wins 10-9.
Yeah. So we don't mean to be pessimist. We don't, but we try to be realists.
I'm one of these dumb sports fans that thinks that what I just saw is what I'm always going to see. And what I just saw last week was a boring, bad football team that is going to have a hard time winning against Big Ten competition. Well,
the good news, we have to end on somewhat of a positive note, right? So Jeff's going to send us out on a positive note. Positive. Jeff says 20-16 Iowa.
Sign me up for Jeff's game. I want that game.
I love it. I love his avatar too. It's just old Hayden Fry. Got the collar coming out of the crew neck. With the aviators, you cannot go wrong.
Look at that. Wait, that's a look that I have never appreciated before.
The collar's out of the crew neck.
It takes some time. You got to be that takes a touch, takes a look. Got to have somebody you can trust to make sure the back of that collar looks good.
Well, and you're right. It is kind of a perfection, right? And you got to have the right kind of sweater to do it, or a sweatshirt to do it. Like a V-neck, you can't really pull that off because the collar goes all over the place, right? You got to be careful with that. Huh? Do you layer very much? I mean, do you go collars on the outside very much?
The collars. I mean, this is about as close as if I'm going to wear a collar, it's usually going to be. I guess if I wear a dress shirt, I usually have a shirt on underneath. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all the time. I'm layered today.
Yeah, it was cold. I made my wife turn on the heater, man. Finally, she came home like, honey, it's cold. She goes, it's only 65 in the house. I said, turn the furnace on. She goes, honey, you could have done that yourself. And I've said, well, that's true, but I want you to wait on me hand and foot. That didn't go over very well, by the way.
You said, I know I could have done it, but I thought it'd be better if I told you to do it.
I really didn't say that. I might have wanted to say it, but I really didn't say that. Again, kickoff at 6:40. We will be back at halftime to give you our halftime thoughts. Don't forget the Jethro's Barbecue Sound Off from 11 o'clock until 1 o'clock. We call it WHO After Dark. He's Ross Peterson. I'm Travis Justice. We will see you at halftime. Iowa, Illinois, coming up next on News Radio 1040